started. So once again, I'm Kinky Karl, and this is
Cranky Grandma.
Cranky Grandma, which you can find on YouTube, correct?
Yes.
How are you spelling that?
K-R-A-N. Cranky with a K.
And then Grandma. Where is it? There we go. All right, share it to one more place. Share it to Kinky Karl. All right, so today it's going to be a short live. Mom's feeling a bit drained today.
I feel old today.
So, what's the first thing that comes to your mind that you would like to talk about? The first thing that wants to come out.
I feel old today. That's what's coming out. I just don't have the oomph to do anything. Maybe it's just I need to take a day off. I'm getting tired of this pandemic and I don't get to go anywhere. I don't get to talk to anybody. I miss it. Like you and I don't talk. We yell at each other.
Not all the time.
But I miss being able to be around people. I mean, I haven't had my friends over. We've even lost touch in a way because most of my friends aren't on Facebook. My relatives are, but not my friends. But I don't know, just feeling cranky as hell, broke as usual, sober, which is scary because I don't like being sober. But what you doing?
Drawing a circle of protection. May no evil, malicious influence infiltrate our circle.
Blessed be, don't hit me with that thing.
So yeah, continue. I think that's a good subject to talk about. I think a lot of people are going through that right now. So elaborate.
I just want to get away for a week or so and just forget about my bills, my money, work, everything. I just need a break from my life.
From me.
From you especially. We get really antsy around each other because we're too much alike.
And we've been stuck in this house for over 2 years since we lost our car together.
Yes.
We have not had a break at all from each other, which is important, I think, in any relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Space and getting that time away from each other so you can come back and reconnect in a peaceful way instead of being like, oh, this again. She's doing this again. It's self-destructive. And it is good to have that space. And I think that's one of the main things that the depression today and people are having a big problem with. The people that are staying home and are working from home and are kind of following the protocols. I think that's the main problem and why many people's relationships have fallen apart because, living with someone 24/7, no matter how much you love them, is not easy.
No, and you need to be away from each other for a while.
Space.
Because then you need to be away from a while and think about you. And when I wake up, I'm not thinking about me. I'm thinking about my day and what I've got coming on and what Karl is going to want and everything else. I mean, so, but yeah, but like I said, I'm just feeling old today, which I have a right to feel old because I am old. I'm 75, going to be 76 this year.
Amen.
Never thought I'd live this long. I thought for sure I'd drink myself to death a long time ago, but it looks like I'm going to be around for a while. I think part of it, part of my draining right now and why I'm feeling old is we lost 2 friends a week ago to the virus. And one was sickly and older, and the guy was older, but it was the father of a friend that passed away last year
in July.
And so
Crystal.
I think that's part of I've been thinking too much about life and death. I really have been because it's making it where I can't sleep. And
well, not only that, I think that's something that really sits with us is not only did we lose Crystal, but her mom lost her daughter and her husband within less than a year. And her daughter lost her mother and her grandfather in less than a year. Which I think that really sits with us too.
Grandmother, not grandfather.
Grandfather. Maddie's grandfather.
Oh, you were talking about Maddie. I thought you were talking about Letty.
9.
No.
And then, yeah, Letty, the sister that, don't say names, but the one that's still alive, just lost her dad and her sister.
No, her aunt.
And her aunt.
And her sister.
And
right.
her aunt and her sister.
No, because I'm thinking that, as much as we get on each other's nerves, it's good to have each other around. Because I'm thinking of my friend who lost her husband and her sister-in-law who all lived together. Now she's the only one in that house all by herself. And I don't know how after she's been in that house for 30
since the 60s.
Yeah. So, and that was the only man she'd ever been with and everything else. So it just makes you think about life is so precious. And then when you have a bad night or a bad episode with somebody you care about, it makes it not worth it.
And you feel for them, like their pain is almost our pain. Go ahead, keep elaborating.
Oh no, that's good. No.
So that's enough of that subject?
Yeah.
So let's move on to another. Would you like me to bring it up, or do you have a subject?
No, all that's going through my head right now is that 1945 Model T Ford. I looked it up last night and found the one that we had because it was a crank handle. And I don't know why that car keeps coming up because it was so rare for us to use it. I mean, we didn't go to town unless we had a reason. You didn't go cruising the strip or anything like that. So I don't know is there something you want to talk about or a question you have about my past, not about my mind, because my mind is fried today.
There's definitely, I have a question for you, and it goes back into today and what we've been through in the last year and what we're still going through. Just to kind of share your perspective on it and what it has taught you and what you have learned from it, how your priorities have changed. Do you think you could elaborate in how
I don't think my priorities have changed. It's just my perspective. My priorities pretty much have always been the same, to survive and whatever it takes, because I have to take care of the financials and bringing in the money and paying all the bills, and that gets to you. After a while, it gets to be very stressful. But smoke went by. But I don't know. My priorities haven't changed.
Your perspective.
My perspective has changed on Well, I think it's making me question more, because I've always questioned, is why? Why are we here? Why do we exist? I mean, what is the purpose to all this madness, or is there no purpose? Just to be born so that you can grow old and die, or whatever, you know? I don't feel like the government doesn't bother me, because in my day-to-day life, the reality of it is that it doesn't really affect me. It has affected,
But it does.
But it does.
People are making decisions for you without you knowing. If we're going to go into government.
No, we're not going to go into politics.
Okay, please. So where were you going? It was all about your perspective and how the last year has changed your perspective on life. And maybe you say, you know, it hasn't changed your priorities, but maybe I think it has. Just through your different perspective that it gave you. Now maybe your priorities are more into gardening, or maybe giving love to people that need it. I don't know. I can't speak for you. Elaborate.
No.
So
my priority is to survive.
So it's just changed your perspective on life. How has it changed your perspective?
Well, how you need to live. If you're going to go through this craziness, enjoy it, or at least try to
embrace it.
Yeah. Look at the positive.
Flow with the river, not against it.
Right. Yeah.
Continue. Look at the positive.
Look at the positive.
I think one of the great things about what has become of all of this is that people's reactions to it and how they dealt with it really has shown true colors and really has awakened certain people. How you deal with catastrophe, how you deal with something so unbearable really kind of shows your character, your inner self. And I think through the past year, going on to, that is the main thing that I have learned and that you have learned. That it's more so kind of looking at the whole picture, understanding what's happening, understanding that this is a blip in time in the whole picture, and how we deal with it. We have the power to either take it to a very negative place, or we can try to spread compassion and find inner peace.
That's hard to do too.
It really is, but practicing it every day and seeing through compassionate eyes, not just the word compassion, but the energy flow that the word is trying to describe, and understanding ahimsa, that every action, thought, and word affect the world around you, and that we are all connected. Plants, concrete, earth, air, wind, fire, people, everything is connected, and to act accordingly. So every thought you think, if a negative thought infiltrates your brain, know that that's going to spread, because we are all connected. So to cut that thought with a compassionate thought, a word that's about to come out of your mouth that maybe is coming from a place of malicious intent, cut that at the cord and think about it through compassion and speak through compassion. And when you decide to make an action that is fueled by a sense of angst, cut it, double think about it, and act through compassion, the holistic picture. How is this going to affect this person? What are my words going? How is it going to affect them? And how is it going to beget violence or compassion? And to speak thoughtfully.
Which is very difficult to do.
It is. And
because every time you speak, you don't necessarily let it process through your brain. And you're thinking about where you're coming from. So to look at somebody else or to think of how it's going to affect them, sometimes you just don't give a shit because of where you're at.
Because it comes back.
Right, but it's very difficult to do as well as you know.
Right.
So it's been 16 minutes. I'm really feeling old today, Charles.
I think we had a great discussion. And I think that's just to conclude today's discussion. I think that's the best way to find inner peace. I've been practicing the energy of compassion every day for about the past year. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's led to a sense of inner peace. I'm not completely there. Hello, Bird 58. If you have a question for us, please ask. We are concluding the day, but we will answer your question if you would like to ask one. But by practicing the energy of compassion every day and seeing through compassionate eyes, and not just the word, the energy behind it, I've slowly gained more and more inner peace. I'm not completely there, and it's going to take more and more practicing. But when I get to that true inner peace, then I'm going to understand ahimsa, the fact that we are all connected, and every action, word, and thought affects the world around you, whether it's matter, a person, air, wind, fire, or the earth. It affects everything around you, a thought, action, or word, and it all comes back to you. So to practice finding that inner peace and practicing every action, word, and thought accordingly, knowing that we are connected and it will come back to us. So act accordingly.
Well, we'd like to wish you a good evening too.
Well, good
and
evening.
I appreciate the comment.
Where are you located? Bird 58. Bird 58.
One thing about the past year is that I've learned that we haven't killed each other yet. Now I do emphasize yet. So because we've been through some rough times, personality-wise. You're in Houston, cool.
Oh, it's not quite evening yet.
Well, it depends on where you look at it. But
welcome.
If you look back at some of our recent discussions, you'll find out more about Cranky Grandma and her upbringing, because I'm 75 and I've seen a lot and how life has changed and gone on about. So we're going to conclude for now, but keep us in mind and we'll let you know when we're back online again.
Yeah, and we plan on doing this about every day till I really learn how to do podcast and get that going. And she has her personal computer being worked on at the moment. So we'll be like split screen and stuff. But we plan on doing these every day. And if you haven't yet, please tune in we've done about 4 now. So please tune into the past ones and watch those. And I will keep them up on my YouTube channel. Thank you all again for tuning in. And as always, we love you.
Au revoir,
Shetty.
chérie.
Tschüss, Iglibidish. In the stream.
What did he say?
Very wholesome. Can't wait to be
part
of more. Well, we can't wait for you to be part of more as well. Thank you so much. Subscribe, hit that bell, hit that like button. Mwah.